This video is more or less about a way to deal with drugs and other things. And there's a compound known as Ibogaine, or Iboga, in the South African grass. Do not construe this with the term Ibogaine from the medical dentistry. That's not what we're talking about here. Ibogaine is a compound that is harvested from a South African grass that once put into a condensed 500 milligram capsule and ingested by any given individual, it will force purge any and all fatty and neurotoxins from the body. What this causes is a purge of the opiates and other toxic effects found within the human body. And most people know that one of the hardest reasons or hardest problems that drug addicts have to overcome is the opiates and other things keep flooding into their system over time due to the buildup in the fatty tissues and other things, which is one of the things that Ibogaine takes care of. And the reason we really need to try to understand this and even talk to our federal officials such as the FDA about this is because from my research as of a year ago, there was currently only 12 to 13 people that actually used this substance in a common practice. And what it causes is 3 days of almost basic perpetual hell. And the same thing can be said about detox, because people go through a lot of things, pissing, shitting, yada yada. The point is that there's only one compound found on the market to date that actually does something similar to this, and it's known as Suboxone. Suboxone is what drug addicts take to cover up the opiate receptors in their body and to prevent them from absorbing opiates that flood through their system whenever the fatty tissues break down and other things over a period of 1.5 years or so. It's about how long it takes for it to completely leave your system. Now, Suboxone basically just blocks the opiates from entering the opiate receptors, as to where Ibogaine completely purges your body of any and all opiates that are within your cells and your fatty tissues, which is the beautiful thing about it. Now, statistically, detoxing effect has an 11 to 12% mortality rate, as where Ibogaine has a slightly higher at 13 to 14%. But given an actual acceptance of this and to be able to go completely clean within 3 to 4 days, I'm sure any drug addict would love to have that option. And it does have a 2 to 3% higher mortality rate, but if the FDA recognized this as a pharmaceutical drug that could be utilized to actually combat the opiate crisis, then we could probably refine it over time and actually make that percentage much lower. And that's the main problem, similar to with marijuana, is that there is no real studies about this stuff. There isn't even a consensus about it because currently the FDA does not even recognize it as a drug. They do label it as a type of controlled substance, but there is no law that prohibits you from having this drug. You won't go to jail for it. But if you administer it to another individual, that's where the problem lies right now. And people have been charged anywhere from $13,000 to $30,000 and upwards of even $70,000 in fines and lawsuits and other things just for administering a drug that people want and or need in order to detox from a really messed up situation fully. So not only should we come together as a collective to try to discuss these topics and actually bring them forward to our federal officials, but to start trying to implement them ourselves. And I will be giving links to these reports and other things that various other great scientists and geniuses far beyond my caliber have been able to put together. And I encourage you to read these reports and to try to see what we can do as a collective to actually to end the opiate crisis, because most people just talk about how bad it is. We need to actually do something about it. And maybe Ibogaine isn't the answer. But I don't really know of much more other answers unless the FDA is hiding some sort of secret drug or something. Anyways, links will be in the description below. Thank you.